What's up, History on Film 2011? I'm going to be sending you this end of semester agenda and the final project momentarily. I've got the email set here with the instructions and everything, all your emails posted here, and we're ready to go. So I just wanted to go over what I was expecting again. So in class, we've been watching Sicko, and we're going to spend the last class finishing up Sicko, looking at the main arguments and then critiquing the main arguments in that Michael Moore film. We're going to briefly discuss some political and economic ideologies, but most of that is unfortunately going to have to be left up to your own to sort of clarify what those terms mean, and I'll talk more about that later. We are actually not going to have time to work on final video reflections in class, so that's going to have to be done outside of class. So outside of class, for the final project, you're going to be responsible for finishing and submitting the final video reflection, and I'm going to put final video reflections because there's two of them. Okay. Before I get into the final project and the expectations, I want to let you know that there's an extra credit assignment as well. And you can watch The Last Supper and then write a brief reflection on the lessons of the film and how it pertains to our class and the things that we learned in the class. This is actually a link you can go to actually watch the film. So you're going to have to click play. This little annoying pop-up will come up you got to get out of. But then if you click play again, at least on my computer, the whole film is actually available. Great film, great lesson, very funny, dark humor. I would highly recommend it. You could even get another idea is if you want to get 2 or 3 of you guys together to watch the film and then just videotape yourself discussing it and having a general discussion, that would be awesome. So that's extra credit. So final project, what do we need to do? 2 parts to the final project. Number 1, reflect on the class and what you've learned in the class. So it's the end of the year reflection on what you've learned. Okay. So what I want you to do is jot down some bulleted thoughts for each of these questions. Okay. So first of all, just sit there and think about these questions and just jot down some thoughts as they come. Okay. It doesn't need to be real detail, but just I want to see that, and I want you to send that to me via email. Okay. So send me bulleted thoughts, bulleted responses to these questions. When you've thought about all these things, I want you to grab a flip camera from the library, somebody's iPhone or iPod or iPad or your laptop webcam, whatever video camera you can, and I want you to do a video reflection of that. So answer these questions. Take each question and just respond to them. Just speak to the camera as if you were speaking to me, and just tell me what you feel about these questions. Okay. If you really are scared about video, or you can't find a video camera, you can do audio. And if that doesn't work, at the very least, take your bulleted thoughts and write an essay, write a paragraph. Or paragraphs that answer these questions. Okay, I think you'll find that if you get over the camera, it's actually easier just to talk about it. Don't worry about being perfect. Just get it out there. Don't spend, an inordinate amount of time doing it. So you're going to answer these questions. What's the most significant thing you learned in class? What did you learn in this class? What will you remember most about the class? It can be funny. Can be non-related to academics. Just that's a fun question. What will you remember 10 years from now about this class? I want to know how your views have changed, your political views have changed as a result of the class. Okay, which views have been challenged, which views maybe have changed, and which views have been solidified as a result of the class and the discussions that took place. I want to know if the class made you feel less or more engaged in politics. I also want you to label yourself. So I want you to use as many labels as you can to label yourself. And I said see attached list of labels. And I'll show you those in a second. But the last one is just any other comments you might have about the class. So at the bottom here, there's a list of labels. And I was planning on going over these with you, and we'll have some time on Monday to go over these. But you can also look them up on Wikipedia, try to make sense of them. We've got liberal, conservative. Progressive capitalist is a type of capitalist where the government plays a pretty strong role in regulating capitalism, okay, generally to redistribute wealth. Laissez-faire capitalist is where the government really takes a hands-off approach to capitalism, and those people are also known as libertarians or sometimes classical liberals. And the fact that your capitalists are known as classical liberals really means that this liberal term is meant to mean the modern liberal or social liberal. It's slightly different than classical liberal. Democratic socialist, like in Sweden, Great Britain, Canada, these are socialists, but they're socialist through democratic means. Okay, revolutionary socialists are Cuba, Stalin, Korea, socialist China, but generally less democratic, non-democratic, and there's a real difference about that. Left wing, right wing, Republican, Democrat, neoconservative versus neoliberal. And then we get into foreign policy issues. Hawk, meaning you're more militant, more willing to use military force abroad. Or Dove, meaning you're less willing to use America's military force abroad. Unilateralist means that you are willing to use America's force abroad or American power in the world without needing to gain alliances from anybody else, that we'll do what we want to do and we don't need to worry about anybody else. A multilateralist will still be active in the world, still advocates for being active, projecting our power, but making sure we do that through after forming alliances with other countries. And maybe we work through NATO or maybe we work through the UN, but we still want to take an active role in the world, but we want the decisions to be made collectively. I'm going to put another word in here that I just thought about. Isolationists are essentially people who believe that we should take care of our own first and really not have an active role in the world. Multilateral and unilateralist believe we should take an active role in the world. Unilateralists believe we should just make decisions based on our own self-interest. Multilateralists believe that we should make decisions with other people in mind. And isolationists actually say that we should not be active in the world, that we should really withdraw back to either our borders or at least our hemisphere, take care of our own, not be so actively involved. Progressive, radical, reactionary, and any other label you can think of. Sometimes people call themselves libertarian socialist or socialist libertarians. You can get fun with these labels. So label yourself. And that's part one, okay? Part two is to contribute to the youth voting documentary. This is going to get done. We didn't spend a lot of time on this at the end of the year because I really wanted to finish the films and sort of get through some more films that we could learn from. So we focused more on films and the knowledge that we could gain from them rather than the documentary. But I still want some footage from each and every one of you. So you have an option. You need to do one of the following, okay? Only one. You can do more than one if you want for extra credit, but you have to do at least one. So if you've come up with an idea to contribute to this film, whether it be a collage about what kids are like preoccupied with instead of politics, or a piece on media bias or something like that you've come up with that you want to create, you can go ahead and do that. Create an original video clip that's a piece of the film. If you haven't done that and you don't want to do that, then I need you to record an interview of somebody. It can be a student, a parent, a professional individual. It can be via Skype, in person. It should be video recorded. Focus on the lighting and the audio. You don't want when you're talking about the lighting, you want good, high quality lighting. Generally, outdoor lighting is the best, and you don't want anything behind them in the background that's distracting. And when it comes to audio, the most important thing is get the microphone within 4 or 5 feet of the individual you're recording and make sure that there's not a lot of background noise. Okay? Really focus on getting good quality audio. And basically, use the interview questions below to interview somebody. If you can't find anybody else, then use these questions and interview yourself. So basically, put a webcam in front of your face and just answer these questions. So you'll do something like this. How do I feel about politics in America? Well, I feel like politics, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Question 2, what do I think are the biggest problems in the American political system? Well, I believe, okay, and you just give your footage like that, okay, and you may be, some of your footage, a couple seconds or so, a clip may be used in the documentary, okay. How much do you feel voting matters? Why do you think so many young people do not engage in politics or vote? What do you think public schools can do to help young people become more politically active and engaged? And then any other good question you can think of when it comes to politics. Like the question is, why are youth not voting and what can we do about it? And most specifically, what can schools do about it? Um, so that's the contribution to the youth documentary. Now that needs to be video. You can probably slide by with audio, but that really can't be written. That needs to be some video or audio. You can work in if you're going to interview somebody else, you can work in groups of two to interview somebody else, and that's that. So here's the deal. Um, I just found out actually this morning. I read my emails that we do need to show up for class. So the final exam, we do need to show up for the final exam. So we'll have 2 hours for the final exam. And actually, as I think of it, um, what we'll probably do is either watch some of these reflections in class, which could be interesting, or we can watch The Last Supper um, in class. And so I would highly encourage you guys to bring in food, bring in snacks. If you guys want to, use the emails here to email each other and plan on like who's going to bring what. Maybe somebody will bring drinks and somebody will bring some other, some food and snacks. And we'll basically have snacks. We'll watch this film, which is about an hour and a half, and then we'll have a half an hour just to wrap up class and talk about what we learned and give me some recommendations for future history on film classes and tie it up the best we can. Um, so I hope that clears things up. I hope I didn't bore you to death. But I figured also I'm asking you guys to video yourselves, so here I am showing you kind of what it looks like. And this is with the webcam. The lighting right here is horrible, so please don't, if I was doing this for, if you were doing this in your project, I would say get way more lighting, but I'm just on the couch and that's that. So if you have any questions, email me. And if not, then I will see you on the day of the exam. Feel free to start an email list about food, and I'll get this film queued up, and we'll have a great ending of the class. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.